Hi, I'm Mrs. Wright and I'm here to tell you a little bit more about biology and see if it's something that you would like to do as you study Year 3. And here we also have Sarah.
Hi.
And she's going to give you a bit of a student perspective as well. So biology, as you will probably already know, is the study of living things. So over the course, over units 1, 2, 3 and 4, we will definitely be talking about living things. We'll also talk about things that may have gone extinct. We'll talk about adaptations and how life has evolved. We'll also be talking about the nitty-gritty. So we talk big picture, but we also talk about the cellular level as well. So a little bit of chemistry knowledge is actually a little bit helpful with this subject. We talk about animals, we talk about plants, we talk about all sorts of things. What do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, we do a lot about the study of humans and the way we've evolved and our genetics, so it's pretty interesting.
Definitely genetics. So genetics is one of the subjects that covers Unit 2 and Unit 4, as well as Unit 3, as we talk about how proteins are made as well. So if you have a little bit of understanding about chemistry, or if you enjoy the living things and how we are made up, I think you'll enjoy biology. From my perspective, I think the most fun thing about this subject would probably be the practicals. We do a lot of hands-on activities. We get to look through microscopes, we get to dissect things, we get to do a lot of reactions. We also get to go on some excursions and do some hands-on fieldwork as well. What do you think, Sarah?
For me personally, I enjoy biology because you learn a lot of new content, stuff that you don't learn in a lot of other subjects, so It's really good.
Cool. So either way, you're going to be having a good time, I think. You'll be learning new things, stuff that you maybe haven't covered before, and you'll also be able to do some things hands-on. The hardest thing about this subject, from my perspective, would probably be all of the terms and the various processes that you need to understand for this subject. Because we do a lot of the nitty-gritty, so when I say that, I mean learning about things at the cellular level, those kinds of things can be a little bit abstract, so they can be a little bit tricky to grasp.
Yes, it's the same for me, and I would say just remembering all the content for exams and things is a bit challenging.
We do make a glossary at the start of the year, and we do stick to it. So we create it as a class, and we talk a lot about vocabulary, and every time we learn a new word, we put it into a sentence, and we come back to it. Because what you'll find with biology is that you might learn one content in term 1, but you'll still be covering it and incorporating that into other things that we'll learn down the track. So by the time we get to term 3, we're still talking about surface area to volume ratios, which we discussed in term 1. Diffusion, it's another thing that we talk about all throughout the year. So, careers that this subject can lead to. Well, there's agriculture, because we learn a lot about plants. There's also obviously medicine, because we learn about the human body, zoology, chemistry, food science, genetics, immunology, nursing, midwifery, veterinary science, physiotherapy, botany and zoology, agriculture, biotechnology, audiology, lots of any subject that includes, any job, any career that involves living things, biology will help you with. So at the start of the year with Unit 1 Biology, we actually decide as a class where we would like to go for our excursion, which is actually going to be an assessment piece. So we'll either decide to go to Melbourne Zoo, or we might decide to go and do our own field studies. So the cost of those excursions will vary depending on what the class decides. By the time we get to Year 12, so the Unit 3-4 excursions, those ones will be over at GTAC, where we're going to do some hands-on study within a lab. The fees for the subject will again vary depending on which excursion we decide to go to, but you should be aware that we will be using Ed Rollo, so there is a fee involved with Ed Rollo, and we do use it quite a bit. There is also our textbook, and we also have biozone that we like to use as well. So these are a little bit like a workbook. You need to have a workbook to write in, so a notebook. So you need to actually have 2 of those, one for labs and one for classwork. And you should also have something to keep some loose leaf worksheets, so like plastic pockets. What should I do to prepare for this subject?
Well, I guess making a glossary would be really important, and just going through a roller, because you normally have access to it before the long holidays start. So just going through it makes it easier to understand like concepts before class starts.
Definitely. And making sure that you have somewhere at home where you can study undisturbed. So make sure that you have set yourself a workspace, and perhaps even set yourself a good study schedule as well, because biology is not the kind of subject that you can cram right at the end. You do need to work on it progressively throughout the year. Other subjects that go well with this. So I know that we do cover some of the same topics that are covered in health, so they actually do run it around the same time as well. So health, I think, is a really good subject to go well with biology, as well as obviously chemistry, because we talk about molecular bonds in biology, and you'll do that in chemistry as well. And psychology, because a lot of the practical reports that we do have the same kind of format and a lot of the same language that is in psychology as well. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. As a senior biology student, you also become guardians of the living things that are in this room. So you'll be in charge of looking after our stick insects. You'll also keep an eye on our goldfish and Boomer, our bearded dragon. How do units 1 and 2 relate to 3 and 4? Can I do 3, 4 without 1 and 2? How much catching up would be required? So you can definitely do 3, 4 without having done 1 and 2, as Sarah can attest to.
Yeah, I also did it without 1 and 2, but I'd say doing those things to prepare, like making the glossary and looking through a roller and reading just through like the first chapter of the 3, 4 textbook is really helpful.
Definitely. So we do cover similar topics from 1 and 2 in 3, 4. So it's more like we're building on it. If you have already done 1 and 2, it will make 3, 4 a lot easier for you. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of what biology 1, 2, 3 and 4 looks like. Hopefully it's something that you're interested in doing. And remember, you do have all of us to support you as well. So good luck.